Hi everybody, this is Debbie from the Inspiration Station. Thank you for joining me today. In today's video, I'm going to be remaking one of my older layouts. So many years ago, I took a class, a digital scrapbooking class online, and I don't remember, I'm pretty sure it was through Big Picture Classes, but I don't remember who the instructor was or anything else about it. It was many, many years ago. I'm thinking 2008, 2009, and we had various assignments. Several of the pages were 8 by 8. I think we did some, I did do a 12 by 12 in it. I know that I printed at Persnickety Prints, but one of the assignments that I did, I printed 8.5 by 11. And to me, it's very dated. This is the layout here, and it's very dated. I do not like the background that I chose. I don't remember if we were given digital background papers in the class or if it was something that I found. Honestly, it's been so long, I couldn't tell you. But I do love the photos, and I wanted to keep the journaling because obviously that was written at the time. And I think what I want to do is just cut this whole section off and then rework it into a new two-page layout. So that's my plan. The problem is, what am I going to use with it as far as product goes? I have very little cat product. And I don't know why, because I have 3 cats. Well, I have 2 now. But at one time we had 9 cats outdoors that were ferals. There was a colony living on our farm, and that's kind of the story of some of these cats here. But right now, what I have that is specifically for cats is this Echo Park paper from 2015. And this is the other piece of it that I have. So I have 2 sheets of each. So I have the yellow and the black, and then the stripe, the 2 different types of stripes. I like the stripe, and the yellow does kind of go with what the photos are here. You know, it kind of goes along. I'm looking at this journaling box here, but I don't like the chevron print. There is this polka dot one here. I don't know. I don't think the colors are going to work. I won't really know until I cut this down, so that I should probably do that first. But I have those, and then I have these papers. I think one paper. Yeah, this paper, which is a cat print of little fish bones, and then on the other side is all these cats. I'm not going to use these photorealistic cats. That is not my jam, but I thought I might be able to use this. I've actually done a mini album with this line several years ago, and it was very cute when I had the whole line. But I don't think it goes well, again, with these very warm photos. I don't want to have to redo this whole thing. This was progress in my class. I learned how to do the overlays, the collage, doing the printed journaling. So I want to keep the basic part of it. So I'm not sure that this is going to work, but what I do have also from that line are, this was supposed to be die cut stickers, but when I had my store, they used to send prototypes of things like stickers. And so this is just a piece of cardstock with them printed on it. And I thought I might be able to cut apart some of the pieces to put on the page, maybe some of the darker ones. I don't know, we'll see. But again, I don't know that I want to use this particular paper. So I started digging through. I was actually looking for more cat paper because I know I had a line from Kaisercraft, but I can't find it. But I found this. This is also Echo Park. It's from many, many years ago, probably older than the other one. Is there a year on it? 2012. And, oops, that's the same one. And I like the color tones on this. I think, because it has the greens, it has the gold, I think I can make this stripe work. And this is a scrap that I had left over because I have used this before. I thought I would use circle punch, which is what I did before, and punch out the year 2009, which is when these photos were from. So I'm liking that idea. I'm not sure how these papers will play into it, but that's where I'm at right now. So I'm going to shut the camera off and cut these down, kind of get a better idea of what I'm looking at, and then I will be right back. I'm liking this better already. Just cutting off that printed background paper that I really didn't like is making me feel a whole lot better about this. I do think I want to use this palette because of all the green in there. I really don't think, yeah, I'm not loving that. So I'm going to go with these papers. Yet to figure out what I'm going to do with them, but maybe I will run this in the middle and then do, I don't know if I want to do a thin stripe or thin strip of this stripe, and then perhaps this larger stripe. It could work. Does it look funny having all the stripes go, like the wood is going vertical and these are going horizontal? And I have other wood grain papers I could use, but I kind of like this. Maybe I need some solid cardstock in here. Now I did have, from that other line, I had this black, which I could matte these again. Nope, 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 because that's got a dark brown in it, so we're going to not do that. All right, so the few cat things that I had are not going to work. I'm not sure where the center of this is at this point. All right, oh, wrong way. Okay, I do like this. It's just a matter of whether I want the larger yellow. I'm going to go look for a cardstock that's this color. Yeah, I don't like it like that. The back side is not something I would use, and I don't have enough of this. This would be great if I had another piece of it, but I don't think I do. But I am going to go look through my stash. This is a boy line, or it was a boy line from Echo Park, and I know that I had the whole collection at one time. So I'm going to go see if I still have any of it, and I'll be right back. I'm back after a really long time searching for matching papers. I ended up finding this Bo Bunny paper from maybe a million years ago. What is it? No date. Anyway, it's old. Let's put it that way. And I really loved this dark brown grid. I actually wish I had more than one sheet of it, but I don't. So I think that's going to be my end piece. And then I found this Tim Holtz coordination paper, again from a million years ago, and it picks up this orange in here. So I think there may be a thin bit of that. And then I wanted to matte these again, and I had trouble finding a matching color. So I found something that was really close to this brown. And I don't know if I want to leave this border on or not. Let me see what it looks like. And I think I will. I wasn't sure because it's not the exact tone, but I think it'll still work. So I have a plan, at least for the papers. And then, like I said, I'm going to punch the year out of this. I need to find some embellishments. I know I have a few cat dies, and hopefully there'll be some other things besides just cats on there. I got to give it some thought. But I figured I'd update right now with where I'm at. Before I matte these photos, I did want to show this tool again. I showed it in my previous video, and people were really interested in it, so I wanted to show you these spacers. And there's a link down below in the description to buy them on Amazon. And they're really inexpensive. They're under $10 for a set, and I think there's 7 different sizes. What I do is I put the paper that I'm going to be using for my mat into the corner of my score tool. Now you could use a MISTI or anything else that holds it in place. And then you choose the size border that you want. And you just put it there and push this in, and it's going to give you the perfect placement. Now I hadn't decided, this is a 1/4 inch, or do I want 1/8 of an inch? And I think it's probably going to be the 1/4 inch. But let's see. I don't know, the 1/8 inch looks good too. I think the 1/4 inch again. I think I'm going to do the 1/4 inch just because I want it to be a little different than the border that's already printed on there. Okay, so we're going to do the 1/4 inch. Is that what I decided? Okay, in the corner it goes. And look at that, perfectly matted at 1/4 of an inch. So much easier. Now this one, because it's the opposite side, I'm going to have to do this way. Let's see if I can get the ATG to work on this one. Oh, look at that, it's working. Okay, so again, put your paper into the corner, put the corner guide on, make sure I'm going in the right direction, and slide it in there. And then all I have to do is trim off the other 2 sides. So I think it's a really handy tool. I think you'll enjoy it if you get it. And I'm going to move on to the next step. So I had learned a trick from Virginia Nebel on scrapbookandcardstoday.com in one of her classes. And then in this past event, Becky Adams used the same technique, and I thought it was really cool. It's a way to connect your papers without having to put a seam or put something behind them. So what I had decided to do was put 6 inches of the brown on either side of this wood grain. So what I'm going to do is, without cutting off the branding strip, we're going to leave that on, and I'm going to cut 6 inches off this one. Same thing over here. I'm going to leave the branding strip on and cut 6 inches. Okay, I'll move this out of the way. And then what I need to do is, this piece with the branding strip, I'm going to attach the piece without, one piece without a branding strip to the one where the branding strip is, and that's where the adhesive is going to go. And then on this one, same thing. So now I have 2 pieces of 12 by 12, and I didn't have to use an extra piece to put behind them. So we are going to put this on and hope that it works. Look, it did. It actually worked this time. Let's see if I can line it up without putting my head in the camera. That's always a challenge. I'll try and straighten it on my mat so I can follow some lines. Okay. And we're going to put that there, make sure it's straight on this line. And it laid down not straight up here, so it moved a little bit. Okay, there we go. So there's my 2 6x6 pieces put together without having to mat it. So I'll do the other one, and then I'll get back to the next step. I'm going to bring my photos in here. They are going to go right on the seam, just like that. Now, obviously, there's a little gap there. When I put them down, I'll have them so that they're right lined up. And then I'm going to cut some strips from my stripe paper and my orange. I don't know how big of a strip I want for the stripe yet, but I know with this, I only want maybe 1/4 of an inch, but I don't want to have to work with such a small piece. So I will cut it a 1/2 inch so that I have a little bit more room to play with right there. So I'm going to move that edge to 12.5. My 1/2 inch strip, move it over to 11. And yes, I should have used the finger guard and I didn't. I will this time though. Okay, so there's my 1/2 inch piece. That's going to go on here. It will get tucked under. And then my stripe. How big do I want my stripe? That is a good question. I think I want it about 2 inches. Let's do 2 inches and see what we get. This has a little tiny bit of the branding strip, so I need to go to the 10 here. And then the 8. And I still have enough if I decide that I need bigger pieces. I have enough left there. Okay, so now do I want this? I probably should stick these down, but they will overlap, so I don't want them down yet. I'm also not sure of the height on these, if I want the photos completely centered or if I want to move them up a little bit. I already have the journaling and the title on this, so I don't need to leave room for that, but I will need room for the embellishments. So I think I'm not going to stick anything down just yet. Okay. Now, as I said, I don't really want the whole thing. I only want 1/4 of an inch. That does not show up very well. So maybe I need another 1/4 inch on this side. I mean, it couldn't hurt, and I do have the paper. This is where it gets difficult, when things start shifting around on me. Good enough to just try and figure out what I'm doing. All right, that will work. That brings the brightness out here. So I need 2 more strips. And then what? Embellishments. Before I go looking, since this is sitting here on my desk, I'm going to do this. This is the paper that came with the line. I love that green. I really wish I had another piece of that green, but I don't. This is a 5/8 inch punch. It fits these numbers perfectly. So I just flip it over so I can see what I'm doing and line it up. And there's my 9. 2. Now the 0, I may have to do another one because it's got a little bite out of it because it was so close to that one. So I will go to the next 0 up here. So what did I do? I did 9, 0, 9, 2, 0. I need another 0, which is over here. Okay. I'm not sure where these are going to end up, but I'm thinking probably down here, although I do have a lot of brown over here that could get covered. And I think I want to raise these up, so I'm going to punch several more 5/8 inch circles with some scrap cardstock so that I can build them up sort of like a thicker. And go check out my dies and see what I have for cat dies, so I will be back. I am back several hours later, primarily because I can't make a decision to save my life. And I was really struggling with paper selection, embellishments, and all of that. One of the things that I did was I decided to move these border strips where I had them in here. I decided to move them to the end. I thought that helped bring some brightness to the end. Then I went to my Cricut. Well, first I went to my dies, and I found a whole bunch of cat dies that I cut out. They were really tiny. I'm not sure if I'm going to use them or not. I was going to try to put them along the bottom because I really feel like I need something down here. But I did find some shapes on my Cricut, and I had this cat, so I cut it out. That's going to go, I think it's going to end up, I think I'm going to put it up a little bit so that the word kind of nestles in there. I don't want to block any of the cats, but I think that'll end up there. And then I did another one that I flipped horizontally, and I found a different cat shape. So I cut that out of a little bit lighter color. And that one's going to go down here. So far, I'm happy with it. I do think I need something along the bottom. I believe that the date is going to come down here. I think this is where I'm going to end up with it. Like that. Now, there was a heart that got cut out of that cat, and I saved it, and I may stick that on there. I think it's kind of cute. So that might end up over there. It helps bring some of that lighter color over. I also have these paw print die shapes. I'm not sure how I'm going to use them. They may, if I use them at all, they may come over and go up sort of like a little border on here. I'll have to cut more if that's the case, because I'll want them over here as well. But I'm not positive on that. The other thing that I did was I went and got this very old Martha Stewart punch, which I believe is supposed to be icicles, but it also makes really good grass. So I found this green, which worked really well there, but it's a little bit plain if I just put that on. So I went to my 49 and Market Vicky Bouton paper, and I found this grid, which was very similar to the one that came with the line that I wish I had more of. It's much darker, but the idea is the same. So I cut the same border from that, and I think if I layer them together like this, then it gives me grass along the bottom. The only thing I'm not sure about is whether I want to just have it in this section or if I want to go all the way across both pages. Haven't made that decision yet. I kind of like it all the way across. So that means I will have to cut 2 more, which I'm not opposed to. So that would go over this way instead of just here. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I think I like it better on both of those. So let me go punch some more of these. I will stick these down because I'm pretty sure that's where I want them. And I should just stick them down and be done with it so they stop sliding around. I do like the placement of the cats. The black ones are up on some fun foam. So I think I'm going to stick those down, and then I'll go cut some more of these, and I'll be back. All right, everybody's glued down, and I'm pretty happy with it. I did want to point out that not all 12 by 12 paper is 12 by 12. So you'll see that on the edges, there's a little bit of a difference. it's okay. That's why I started from the middle. I made sure that it was lined up in the middle, and then at the end here, the two ends, I can just give it a little haircut, trim off the ends, and nobody will know the difference. So everybody's glued down. I still have these cats here, and I don't know, I think it might be, you know, one part of me thinks it would be cute to stick them in the grass, and the other part is saying, no, don't do that. You're going to just have too much stuff. So we'll see how this works out. I was thinking of doing like a big one for the mama, and then a couple of little ones behind her. This one goes this way. I don't know, what do you think? I think it's kind of cute. Might be a little much, but you know what? I think it needs something there to balance it out. So I am going to stick these guys down. And I don't feel like fooling around with my tape runner, so I'm just going to stick a little bit of glue on the important points. Grab a set of tweezers here to hold this. And that way I can kind of tap off the extra. So I'm going to tuck it down in between the light and the dark green, so it looks kind of like it's sitting in the grass. So what was left? Oh, the paw prints. I don't know that I need them now that I have the cats along the bottom. I think this might be too much. I was thinking of doing opposite corners rather than both up there. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Would you put the paw prints on or not? I'm going to leave them off for now and see what you guys say. And if everybody likes them, then I will add them on. If not, they're going to stay off. So if you stuck with me this long, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Please give this video a thumbs up. It really does help me, help to get my content out to other scrapbookers who might be interested. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. If you are a subscriber, thank you. I really appreciate it. Let's see if I can get this better in view. There we go. So I will take some still shots and put them at the end of the video. And I guess that's it. I will see you in the next video. Thanks for joining me.